Hello everyone and welcome along to round 9 of the SRL F1 World Championship here in the Austrian mountains here in Spielberg, and it promises to be another thrilling Grand Prix. We've got qualifying here on the Saturday. We've got 13 cars all gunning for victory here today. Who will come home with the points? Who will exit this ding-dong championship fight in the lead? It really has been incredible so far, and we've got all sorts of drivers fighting it out for this championship. There is only 15 points covering the top 4. It is Shimase leading the way at the moment, just shy of the 100-point mark. He has 98 points. 4 points back is Matt Meerkat in second, and then in third position we have got, I believe it's Pit Matt. Pit Matt has popped up into third now. Ash Richardson dropping down after not attending last week. He has got 83 points. And yes, very, very tight between the top 4, just 15 points covering them. Then a little bit of a gap back to Ricky in 5th in the standings with his Ferrari teammate Skeven right behind him. The two of them running well last week, and Ricky getting a good result in the end, getting the podium. Skeven looked certain for the victory, only to find himself bouncing into the barrier and ending his race early on. A real chance for him to enter the championship battle last week. What about this week? Can he now do it? We know Skeven has got the pace, but far too many races where he has not finished. He's only scored twice so far this season, has Skeven. So a few DNFs and a few did not starts for Skeven. So we'll see how he gets on this afternoon. Chris sits 7th in the championship with Space Unicorn in 8th, OTG 9th, and it's Robert rounding out the top 10. So here we are then in qualifying. The cars heading out onto the racetrack, starting their outlaps in this session. It's the shortest lap on the calendar, the shortest lap time, only 1 minute 6, 1 minute 5. It'll be interesting to see what the drivers do here today. We are expecting a one-stop race as well. What compound will drivers feel they need to do? I've seen many people try ultra softs and then go into soft compound tyres, and again, it's entirely possible. Some people might even try and stretch ultra softs out far enough to go into a set of super softs, but we'll have to wait and see if that is possible. But the drivers heading out onto the track at the moment, and most of them have fitted the purple, the softest compound, the ultra soft tyre here today. A few of them still in the pits, but we have got red jams out there, or red jams we'll go with. And third position at the moment, just on his out lap. He's starting his flying lap now, I think. And he has gone for, interestingly, the super soft tyre. So it'll be interesting to see if he's just using the super soft to do a sighting lap and not ruin any of these ultra softs that he has available to him. It'll be interesting to see what he chooses to do. He might, of course, choose to start on these super softs. It's not entirely out of the question. But here he is heading through the middle part of the lap as Ricky, the man who was on the podium in third place last time out, pops in at the first representative lap time of the afternoon with a 1 minute 6.823. How much lower will we go than that? Will we see any 1 minute 5s this afternoon? As Red Jams comes out the final corner in the Haas, heads for the line, and he goes second as Pit Matt goes quickest, one of the title contenders, pumping in a 1.65 to open his account. But Red Jams, a 1.6.7 on the super soft tyre. That's a solid opening effort, and so far it's the most eye-catching of the times on the board so far. CG pops in at 4th, a 1.7.4, and Bill is in 5th with a 1.79, and OTG is not set a representative time there with a 1.22.4. That will certainly not be enough to get us inside 107%. Skeven still in the pits, but let's watch Matt Meerkat then. Another man really in the title hunt. Saw his race go badly wrong at the start, went for a big spin, and then despite that nearly found himself taking home the victory in all the drama that unfolded in Baku. But in the end he had to settle for a podium finish. But Matt Meerkat then heading down into the tight twisty part of the lap, the middle sector. Well, I say tight twist, it's more fast and flowing I should say, but compared to the rest of the lap it's not very straight. And Matt Meerkat working the Force India chassis to the limit then as he bounces across the curves and then heads down towards the penultimate and final corner. Two very high speed tricky right-handers getting the nose in, very difficult to do. And now the final corner for Matt Meerkat, using a lot of curb, and that is going to catch out several drivers in this qualifying session. And Matt Meerkat does a 1.7 flat. But yeah, that curb in the final corner, it's so easy to take just a little bit too much, try and be greedy and just bounce off the track and lose all the time that you've made up over the course of the lap. So Matt Meerkat spoils his lap in the end there. I'm pretty sure that would have been deep into the 1.6s. But in the end, he's fifth with a 1.7 flat. Pit Matt, a 1.63 now at the top of the timesheets. Ash Richardson has now gone second with a 1.64, looking to retake his championship lead, which he lost last time out. We'll wait and see if he is able to deliver after a week off from the action, as we have 6 minutes to go. We're almost halfway through the session, and it's Pit Matt on top, Ash Richardson second, Ricky in third, Ray James is in at fourth, and Matt Meerkat in fifth. Arctic Devils has popped into second with a 1.71, CJ seventh a 1.74, and Bill 101 Bob a 1.79. OTG yet to set a representative time. So Matt Meerkat, what's he doing this time then? He's coming into the pit, so he's abandoning this lap. It's been a poor run for him. Ash Richardson's coming in as well, as is Pit Matt. Who else we got out there? Maybe pushing for a lap. Skeeven's the man to watch then. Skeeven through the middle sector and heading now into the two tricky right-handers. He throws the Ferrari into the corner. Look at that, really confident in the car. Can he get the final corner right and do what Matt Meerkat couldn't? He certainly can. Will Skeeven go quickest? He sure will. A 1:05.980, the first man into the 1.5s. And there you go. There is the benchmark. Catch him if you can. Skeeven, the Irishman, he delivers here in Austria. A 1.5.980. And will anyone be getting anywhere near that? It will be a very, very difficult challenge. Some 4/10s clear on a lap so short. And that's a fantastic opening effort from the Ferrari driver. And you can see the Tifosi fans in the grandstand. They're really enjoying that. The prancing horse flags fluttering in the wind here in the Austrian mountains. Fantastic effort from Skeeven at Red Bull's home track. They will not be best pleased. So who else we got out there? Arctic Devils is currently 7th. I think he's warming up for a run. Shimasi maybe coming into the final part of the lap in the McLaren, winner last time out, put in a stunning drive really, giving him so little pace in qualifying. Here he comes to the line. Does he have pace in qualifying today? He sure does, and goes second with a 1.6.2, crucially on the super soft tyres. Fantastic effort from Shimasi. He might not have the qualifying pace last time out, but he sure does today. And will he then go on to a set of Ultrasofts and take the fight to Skeeven? Well, I have to say, if he does, I think he will take it to him. But he might be quite happy with that and might want to start on the supers, because he's not really sacrificing grid position with a lap time like that. Fantastic effort from Shimasi, and he puts the McLaren into second position. So Skeeven now leads the way with 4 minutes to go. Shimasi in second. Pit Matt now demoted to third with Ash Richardson in fourth. Ricky sits fifth. Stiggy's popped into sixth with his first timed effort, and Red Jams is in seventh. Matt Meerkat sits eighth. Devils is ninth, and Frisky CJ rounds out a very tight top 10. Bill and Bob 11th, and OTG yet to set a representative time, as has Space Unicorn, who's sitting, has actually just come out onto the racetrack to begin a flying lap as we speak. So let's ride on board with him, as OTG finally does post a representative time. He goes 5th quickest on a 1.6.6, but let's go on board with Space Unicorn then, as he heads down into the technical area of the racetrack. A very tricky braking point for that right-hander, but this is the toughest on the track. A blind left-hander. It was very difficult to find the turn-in point, but that looked pretty good from Space Unicorn. And again, he throws it in. You're clinging on for dear life here. It's so easy to run wide, and that's exactly what Space Unicorn does. But somehow holds onto the car. I thought that was a goner, and heading into the kitty litter. But here we go, final 2 corners, and he really is pushing hard here. That Force India is on rails. This is heading into the top 5, I would think. Space Unicorn goes third quickest on a 1.6.264. Starting to get pretty clustered in the 1:06s at the top end of that timesheet now. Shimasi 1.62, Space Unicorn 1.62, Pit Matt 1.63, and Ash Richardson on a 1.6.4. Skeeven's on an out lap, I can tell you that for sure right now, and Space Unicorn's down a good bit in that first sector, so he is not going quickly the second time round. So Pit Matt, he's starting a flying lap then. 2 minutes and 13 to go. What can Pit Matt do? Right in the middle of this World Championship fight. As any of them, as we head into the traditional circuits on the calendar that we see all the time. You know, we've seen Austria on the Formula 1 calendar, traditional European track, always there. We head to Silverstone, and they head to Hungary and Spa and Italy, all tracks that have been on the calendar for such a long time. And is there anyone of these championship contenders really going to take it by the scruff of the neck and pull away in the title race? I have to say though, I mean, in Baku, Skiven looked rapid, and he has looked rapid again here today. If he can just finish Grand Prix, he could really become a threat in the second half of this season for the World Championship, because he seems to have a slight pace advantage over much of the field. But anyway, Pitmat coming into the penultimate corner and looking to be on rails, and he's backed out of it, hasn't he? No, he hasn't. He's pushing. It looked like he was there, but he's heading into the final corner, and Pitmat stays fourth quickest. So he will go again, but we have to look for Skiven, who is coming down into the technical section of track again. And he's backed out of it. He's warming his tyres up for one final run by the looks of it as Skiven. He must have abandoned the lap. Shimasi on an out lap. He's getting ready to go as well. So we've got one final shootout between these front contenders. Space Unicorn won't be going any quicker than third. 162 from him. He's in the pits. Pitmat, I think, is backed out of it. He might go for a second run in a moment if he has the fuel. Ash Richardson's in the final corner though. No, Pitmat does not have any more fuel. His session is done. Fourth at best for one of the title rivals. What can Ash Richardson do? Is it a late rally? He starts his final lap now. He was on one, but it wasn't particularly quick. It was in the 1 minute 12s. It must have been just, and at one that he abandoned. OTG's not going to go any quicker. Space Unicorn ain't going any quicker, as we know. So Skiven, Shimasi, Matt Meerkat pops into third. He goes a 1 minute 6.2, joining a trio of cars now on a 162. But Matt Meerkat goes again. I can tell you Shimasi has come out of the track, out of the pits, with a set of the purple ultra soft tyres, so he will be able to threaten Skiven here. The pressure is on for these two. Skiven is right in front of him on the road as Ricky goes sixth. He won't be going any quicker. Ash is down to 7th. There's a lot of pressure on Ash. We'll stick with him now. He's furthest round the racetrack at the moment of the contenders for pole. Can he pull it out the bag for Renault as he heads down to the penultimate and final corner? Ash Richardson, a 1.64 at the moment. He just needs to find 2.10s to climb onto the front row. What can he do? Here comes Ash, round the final corner, heading for the line. Can he go any quicker than 7th? Yes he can. He goes onto the front row with a 1.6 flat. Fantastic effort, but not quite enough to beat Skiven. What will Skiven do, and what will Shimasi do? I'll roll on board with Ash Richardson beyond the final corner. Skiven stays first on a 1.59. No improvement. Shimasi didn't improve on his ultras, and that is a surprise, and he'll be disappointed not to have improved in his ultras. It means he is forced onto the super softs at the start of the race. But look how tight it is between the top 7 cars. Half a second covering them. Skiven though, once again delivering, and picks up the pole position. A 1.5.9, the only man in the 1.5s, but only just ahead of Ash Richardson in second, who finally popped up at the end of the session with a 1.6 flat. Great effort from him. Shimasi, a 1 minute 6.2. He'll be disappointed. He went on the ultras hoping to pop it into the 5s, pop her on the pole, but he couldn't quite manage it. Matt Meerkat, 4th position, Space Unicorn in 5th, and Pitmat will be the most disappointed, I would think, of the title contenders. Only 6th quickest for him. The Toro Rosso driver has it all to do tomorrow. Ricky though, he starts 7th on a 1.64, OTG in 8th on the 1.66, Stiggy in 9th with a 1.67. Red Jam's right behind him on 1.67 as well in 10th. He's starting on super softs though. Arctic Devils 1.7 flat is 11th. He'll get the fresh tyres to start the race, as will Bill 101 Bob in 12th, and CJ, who crashed out in 13th. Well, I think he crashed out. He may have retired. I am not 100% sure. But there you go. That concludes the qualifying session here on a Saturday here in Austria. Promises to be a thrilling race tomorrow. What will the weather do? Is there any chance of rain arriving at any point? We'll have to wait and see. We've got half a minute to go until we get going with this race tomorrow. And yeah, it's going to be a really close fight. I really don't know if Skiven has got that much of an advantage in the race. Ash is going to be there. Shimasi, we know, he's starting on super softs. If he can stick with them in the early stages, he will be a threat at the end. That has to be said. And Matt Meerkat as well in 4th position. All these guys really closely matched. And I'm interested to see what strategy these guys do. Will they try and stretch ultras out far enough to go into super softs, or will they just bail out early and go on to soft tyres. It will be interesting to see, and I'm also interested to see what Shimasi does. Will he bail out and go into softs, or will he as well go for a set of the ultra softs near the end? It will be very, very interesting to see what these guys try to do. But there you go. Once again, a rundown of the order. Skeeven on pole with Ash alongside Shimasi third, Matt Meerkat fourth. Space Unicorn fifth, right behind his teammate Pitmat, a disappointed sixth. Ricky sits seventh with OTG in eighth. Stiggy and Red Jams round out the top 10. Fresh tyres for Arctics in 11th, Bill 1 above 12th, and Frisky CJ is starting last in 13th. Well everyone, welcome to Austria. It's race day. The sun appears to have disappeared a little bit behind the clouds, but it's overcast as we get set for what promises to be a fantastic Austrian Grand Prix. It was so tight yesterday in qualifying, and it promises to be exactly the same in the race. Who will come out on top? Will Skeeven finally deliver exactly what he's been threatening in qualifying in recent weeks, or will he be thwarted once again by the four men at the top of the championship? We'll find out as the lights go on here in Austria. And we are racing, and there's a jump start there for Ricky already. He's pulled away. That's a terrible start from him, but look at that, he's already climbing up onto the start, onto the front of the grid, but not quite moving up there. Horrible start for him. Skeeven leads though from Ash in second. Space Unicorn third. We've got a huge accident in the back. 3 cars wiped out on the opening lap. Who was that there? That was Red Jams going for a spin. CG down there as well. And was it Bill 101 Bob who just escaped it? OTG went for a spin. Meanwhile, in the middle sector we've got more bumping. We've got Shimasi in there with Pitman in fifth. We've got Matt Meerkat in sixth and Arctic Devils in seventh. Look at them all streaming down the straight. It's 2 by 2 as they hit the brakes for turn 4. But it looks to me like Shimasi holds on to 4, Pitmat 5th, Arctic Devils up 1 to 6, Matt Meerkat's had a horrible start, down to 7th place, not at all what he was wanting. He's gone down 3 places from his starting position. Arctic Devils is up 5. Absolutely brilliant. Space Unicorn up to 3rd from 5th on the grid, but Skeeven leads them as they head towards the end of the lap, and crucially though, Ricky, who really made a huge jump at the start, jumped the start and will have to come in and serve a drive-through penalty. A shame for him. His race really put on the back burner almost immediately. Is that Shimasi running wide? It is, and he's under threat from Pitmat, who's climbed up 2 places in the start now. Started 6th, he's up to 4th. Brilliant move from Pitmat, pouncing on the mistake there from Shimasi, and he moves through. And now look at Arctic Devils sliding wide in the background, and then we've got Stiggy and Matt Meerkat dueling as well up the hill. All sorts of action in the opening laps of this Grand Prix. Stiggy pressuring, or under pressure as to say, from Matt Meerkat, who's now down 4 places from his starting position. Not at all what he was hoping for. And some serious damage being done to the likes of Pitmat, Shimasi and Matt Meerkat here if they want to try and win this, because Skeeven, Ash and Space Unicorn are disappearing very quickly as we watch Matt Meerkat try to go right round the outside of Stiggy. That would be some move if he could pull that off, but there's no way through, and Stiggy holds on at the moment. It's very tough to overtake in the infield section. You really do have to line it up for anywhere in that first sector if you want to make a move. But there's no signs of finding a way past Stiggy at the moment for Matt Meerkat, but he's right behind him of course, really looking for a way through it. Where can he try it? Space Unicorn now picks up a 3-second type away, and he goes through now. Stiggy runs wide and comes into the pits actually. So Stiggy coming in on lap 3 out of 36. He's got left end plate damage on his front wing. That will explain that. So Matt Meerkat moves up, but Skeeven out front on lap 3 out of 36. It's been a fantastic start to this race. Action everywhere you look. He leads by 1 second now. He's broke the DRS already on Ash Richardson, and so far it's been the perfect start for the Irishman. He leads from Ash in second. Space Unicorn runs third, a second further back, and Pitmat trying to keep tabs on him in 4th position. Now we look with Shimasi, who is right behind him on those super soft tyres of course. What can he do on them? Sticky's come in and put soft tyres on, as is OTG and Ricky at the back of the pack, but we have to stick with Shimasi at the moment. He and Arctic Devils both running on super soft tyres at the start of this race, as is CG in 8th and Red Jams in 9th. So Oh, Space Unicorn, big mistake, and there's Pitman, is he going to pounce? He sure is, and Space Unicorn comes clean off the track and drops right down the order, and even his teammate, Matt Meerkat's going to go past him. Must have been a huge kick of oversteer on the exit of the corner, either that, or a huge load of understeer on the way in, forcing him to go wide onto the grass and the gravel. We didn't quite catch it, we just saw the tail end of it, but he's demoted after that promising start from 3rd place all the way down to 7th. As Shimasi now picks up a penalty. These penalties will be crucial in this Grand Prix. That's the last thing you want to be doing, and giving yourself 3-second time penalties early on. It's very difficult though for the drivers, all the fuel on board, they just need to find the right braking points, get into a rhythm, and then they'll start you know, hitting the apexes and not running the risk of getting penalties. It is very tricky, but Skeeven is opening out that lead now. 1.9 his advantage on Ash Richardson. Really, really looking like the man to beat here this afternoon in early doors, but Shimasi, you have to feel this is crucial for his race. He has to clear pit mat soon if he wants to have a sniff at Skeeven. He is on the super soft tyres, so he will, if he does choose, of course, I must stress this, to go ultra softs at the end. He might choose to go softs, but if he does choose to go ultras at the end, he needs to clear pit mat now if he wants to really attack Skeeven in the closing laps. Or will Skeeven and Shimasi, will they all go and pit early and fit a set of the soft compound tyres? It will be very interesting to see what the drivers choose to do, but we ride on board with Shimasi then, coming in a turn 1 and nearly lighting up the rear tyres and spitting that McLaren into the barrier. That was very close to an almighty shunt for the McLaren driver, and I can tell you now, Eric Boulier had his heart in his mouth down in that garage. Goodness me, wow, that was just a little too close for comfort for Shimasi. You can tell he's pushing hard, he knows he needs to get this move done, but at the moment there's no signs of it, because pit mat has not even had to make a defensive move yet. Ash Richardson's closed that gap down to around a second on Skeeven, so he's not giving up yet. He's pegging Skeeven in around 1 second. Pit mat though, clearly not on the same pace as the front two, and really holding up Shimasi, who's supposed to be on the slower tyre. And it's only going to... oh, who's that? Ricky. Ricky's out. 13th place, he's in the wall. He's lost the rule. Was that the right rear? Yeah, it's the right rear. Wow. It's not often you see the right rear come off the cars. But Ricky has it bouncing up or folding up on top of his engine cover. So is that a suspension failure, or has he just lost it in that final corner and found himself either in the pit wall to start with or on that side of the road? Interesting to see Shimasi though on pit mat. We're too busy watching that. They're going side by side up the top of the hill. Shimasi knows he needs to get this done. Pit mat will surely run him, hang him out to dry by braking late. He sure does. The cutback from Shimasi is a failed one, because he just clips the rear of the Toro Rosso diffuser in front, and still he's stuck behind him. He really needs to get a move on here, and he's got it right up into Rich Mix. He's going to try dive out on the outside. That would be some move. He can hang it out there. Shimasi trying what he can, but pit mat frustrates him further. Surely not round the outside. No way, not into this corner. It's blind as it is for the apex, and again, pit mat continues to frustrate. 5 seconds now behind Ash Richardson in 6 laps. This is damaging for Shimasi in his hopes to win this. Meanwhile, behind that, Arctic Devils and Matt Meerkat in a ding-dong battle. I think Matt Meerkat's just lit up the rear tyres and allowed his teammate to get back onto him. Oh, yeah, he has. Teammate right behind him. Oh, big slide from pit mat in 3rd. Action everywhere we look. Matt Meerkat has got ahead of Space Unicorn, or they're battling at the moment behind, but we have to stick with this. 3rd against 4th. This could be the key to Shimasi's fight for victory this afternoon. He has to clear pit mat now. Climbing the hill. Pit mat getting pretty defensive. He's moving to the inside, but now he opens the door. Shimasi takes the opportunity, locks the right front. They bang wheels, and is he through? He chooses to let him go. No, he doesn't. Well, he does, but then pit mat decides no, that was all fair, and I agree, it was all fair. And through he goes, and that allows Arctic Devils to get a sniff, and he tries to go past pit mat. They bang wheels again, and somehow he cannot find a way through, and it's all beginning to unravel here. What a battle this is. 3rd, 4th and 5th. But now can Shimasi get away? 7.5 seconds is deficit to Ash Richardson. You have to feel the damage might already be done in his quest for victory. It looks like it's already looking like it's going to be between Skeeven and Ash, but we've seen Skeeven before make a complete meal of it in Baku. It's slightly more difficult to do it here, But you need to watch these curves, you need to watch about understeering wide in some of the high-speed cars. You can spit it into the barrier and lose it. Final corners one, and of course in the middle sector there's a few corners where it can be tricky. Meanwhile, Arctic Devils has just got ahead of Pit Mat there. I missed that. Pit Mat struggling a lot here for pace in Austria. Really not the pace of a championship contender, it has to be said. Matt Meerkat, has he been into the pits? What's happened to him? He's down in 8th place. Yes, he has. He and his teammate have been in. His teammate's just come in now. Matt Meerkat ahead. So Matt Meerkat has been in for a set of the Super Softs. Speed Unicorn for a set of Ultra Soft tyres. That's interesting. So we're seeing 2 stops here being considered by some of the field. OTG 10th, he's pitted as well. Stiggy's been in as well. And actually Stiggy and OTG are about to do battle at the top of the hill. Battle for 10th and 11th. Stiggy up the inside. And they're both throwing their hands out the cockpits. But Stiggy gets his elbows out and gets his car into the points. 1 point now on offer for that Renault driver. Beautiful move, stuck it up the inside. And it was hard racing, but it was fair racing, and OTG is relegated to 11th. Lovely stuff from Stiggy, and he moves through into the top 10. So where can we watch now? Pitman and Arctic Devils. In fact, no, we'll watch CJ and Red Jams going side by side down the main straight into the first corner. And CJ is ahead. I'm not sure if he was ahead, or I think he wasn't. I think he was behind, but he's now ahead of Red Jams. So what can Shimasi do in third? Can he close in on Ash Richardson? The gap sits at around 7 seconds right now. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Arctic Devils though, under pressure from Pit Mat behind. Pit Mat of course involved in a battle with Shimasi. That allowed Arctic Devils to get involved, and Arctic Devils didn't need a second invitation to find a way through. And he is now up into a brilliant 4th place, it has to be said. Running really well at the moment is the Welshman, Arctic Devils. As Stevens come in, so he is going to go on to soft tyres, I would think, and go to the end. That's surprising. Part of me thought he might stretch the stint out and go on to a set of supers. If it was possible, I'm not sure if it would have been possible, but Stevens come in, he's gone for another set of ultras, interestingly. So he will not be, he's doing a 2-stop, so he'll be in the pits again. So will that now make Ash change his mind? As Steven exits the pits, look at the barrel going on there between Red Jams and CJ. Look at Steven, he's become right out between them. This is not ideal for his race. If he's doing a 2-stop, he needs clean air to pump in the lap times, and that is not going to help him. Will Ash go long, put on a set of softs, and run to the end, because this is vital. Steven cannot allow this to happen. He needs to clear CJ now. He moves to the inside, and CJ doesn't look like he's defending it too hard. This is not his race, and Steven the Irishman makes his move up the inside and seals the place, and now can get after Arctic Devils. Beautiful stuff. He's got 6 seconds to make up on Arctic. Can he do it? Can he make the 2-stop work? I'm surprised he's going for the 2-stop. I did not think this would be on the cards. I thought the 1-stop was a certainty. Now Ash is in. Will he go for softs? You know what, I really hope he does. I want to see some variation in the strategy here. Ash Richardson into the pit lane. What tyres are going on? It's a set of soft compound tyres indeed. So he will go to the end, Steven will not. And we'll have to keep an eye on that as Space Unicorn picks up a 3-second time penalty. This will be very interesting to see what everyone chooses to do. Shimasi now leads the Grand Prix on the super soft tyre. You would expect him now to run deep into this race, see how deep he can run, and maybe go for a set of ultras. Can he take these 22 laps or something like that? And maybe take a fresh set of ultras, 14 laps? I have seen people do that before. Take 13, 14 laps with a set of ultras and maintain a reasonable pace. So will Shimasi do that, or will he come in early for a set of softs? It's going to be very interesting to see what the preferred option is. Ash Richardson now stuck behind CJ. He would like to clear him as well pretty soon. It's not as crucial as it was for Steven, of course. Of course, Steven needs to pump in lap times really quickly on those ultras if he wants to make his 2-stop work. Ash Richardson then behind Frisky CJ. The battle to watch is Arctic Devils pits. So he is coming early, so that will surely be for a set of soft compound tyres, because he won't be taking ultra softs to the end unless, of course, he's in a 2-stop. But it would be unlikely given the fact that he started on supers. and he is going for soft tyres as Arctic Devils, but we have to stay on board with Ash Richardson then, tucked right up behind the back of the Mercedes. Renault power against Mercedes power. You usually fancy the Mercedes, but Ash is not interested in messing about. He moves side by side with Frisky CJ. He outbreaks Frisky CJ, and he moves up into third place. Textbook stuff. And now he can get after Skeven. He's already 5 seconds back, but Skeven is on a tyre 2 stages softer and 2 stages grippier than what Ash is on. Ash is going to the end. Skeven will be in once more, and it will be all about whether Skeven can close Ash down in the closing laps. But at the same time, we have to watch Shimasi and wonder what he is going to do. Leading the race at the moment, winner last time out, going for a second successive victory, leading the championship as well. What strategy is he planning here this afternoon? Is he going long for a set of ultras to charge at the finish, or is he just running around on these super softs until he feels it's time for a set of softs? If he does, he's going to have to close in and pass Ash Richardson. He's going to have to close in and pass Ash Richardson whatever he does. Skeven, it will be a case of keeping him behind, because Skeven is stopping twice and is 7 seconds behind at the moment. So they both have got one more stop to do. So in theory, when the pit stops work out, as it stands, Shimasi would stay ahead of Skeven, because Skeven's doing one extra stop. So Shimasi leads from Skeven in second. Ash is running third with CJ in fourth. It's fifth position for Red Jams and sixth for the struggling Matt Meerkat. His namesake Pit Matt also struggling in seventh at the moment. Championship contenders not having their greatest afternoon, it has to be said. Arctic Devils is pitted and going to the end in 8th, Sticky 9th, OTG 10th, Space Unicorn having a horror show in 11th, and Bill 101 Bob pits now for a set of softs to run to the end of the Grand Prix, and he's down in 12th. Shimasi's coming in, so Shimasi into the box now. So he is going for a set, I would think, of soft tyres to the end of this Grand Prix. He is not going to stretch them out and go on to a set of ultras. It's obviously just a little bit too much of the tyres to ask. So Shimasi will rejoin the racetrack in third, or fourth, sorry, I would think, maybe fourth. He'll be hoping to rejoin fourth. And then, oh, it's going to be close with Matt Meerkat. Matt Meerkat's ahead. So Shimasi has got some overtaking to do. We're actually going to have a look now. He is 14 seconds behind Skeven. So Skeven will be looking to get the absolute best out of those ultra soft tyres to try and build a big enough gap to cover off Shimasi. He won't be covering off Ash, because Ash is far too close to Skeven. But can he cover off Shimasi, Skeven? Because if he can, that's one less car to overtake at the end to get to Ash Richardson. So Skeven's target has got to be to get a pit stop on Shimasi and be ahead of him. That will not be easy though. 14 seconds at the moment. I'm not sure what the full delta time is. It will be interesting to see. But Skeven has really got to pump in some serious laps, and at the same time, Shimasi, he just has to get past Matt Meerkat immediately. He cannot allow Skeven to be in front of him after the pit stops. Otherwise, it's game over, really, in the battle for victory for Shimasi. It might already be game over because he's already some 8 seconds off Ash Richardson. But here we go, Shimasi not interested in messing about. He pulls alongside Matt Meerkat going into turn 1. And is he going to make it stick side by side? Yes, he does. Through he goes and up into 4th place, and look at that, already onto the back of CJ. Some of these guys clearly struggling on their tyres. Pardon me. So Shimasi, the man on the move, he's on the prowl, looking to find a way past. It's Frisky CJ then, using the DRS, and it's a little bit unfortunate for him. He's catching him at the end of the straight where the overtaking becomes limited. Can he pull off something pretty spectacular and find a way past Frisky CJ? Will it be one for the overtaking montages? He might feel the need to, because he needs to get this move done. Look how much smaller CJ is through that corner. He's basically pushing him around the middle sector. Come on, he's saying, get a move on. And he's picking up the throttle long before CJ. And look, CJ feels the need to get defensive. Will Shimasi go the long way around? It would be some move if he can. He does go around the outside, but CJ is coming into the pits. So Shimasi then, up into third. Can he really hunt down Ash Richardson and make it a three-way fight for this victory this afternoon? Just an update, Skeven has opened it out from 14 seconds to 15.5 now to Shimasi. Interestingly, it's 16.5 to Matt Meerkat, so he wouldn't clear him, but you feel Matt Meerkat would be stopping again. so that would not be an issue for Stephen. But Pitmat, crucially, is 18.3 seconds. The gap between him and Stephen. So another driver that could cause Stephen problems, because it's not difficult. In the grand scheme of things, it's not difficult to overtake at Austria, but on this game it can be if you don't have the straight line speed. We do not know the setup Stephen is running. He will want to push and get every ounce of grip and performance out of those ultra softs to ensure these are ahead of the likes of Pitmat and Shimasi. At the moment, Shimasi's is looking a bit tough, but Pitmat, he should get ahead of it. It's 19.1 at the moment, so you got to fancy Stephen to rejoin ahead of him. You really do. So, back to the action. What else we got a battle at the moment? We got any battles on track? We do actually. We've got Stiggy and OTG battling over 9th and 10th. And Stiggy! Whoa! He's lost the rear! He's in the gravel! And he goes for a spin in the kitty litter. And look at the Renault pit wall. They do not look best pleased with that one. And he spins out of the World Championship points. The Space Unicorn says, thank you very much. I'll take that. 10th position. Stiggy lights up the rears and goes for a harmless and pretty pathetic spin down at the end of the lap, as just as you enter the third and final sector. Well, that's pretty poor. He'll be disappointed with himself there. He'll be kicking himself. What a big error that was from Stiggy. And he drops down to 11th place. So, what else we got going on? Stephen leads the Grand Prix, 8.2 second advantage over Ash Richardson in second. As we go beyond the halfway point in this Grand Prix, lap 18 out of 36, it's been action packed up to now. You got to feel it's been simmering the pot in this Grand Prix. It's been a simmering pot throughout, but I feel it's going to reach boiling point in the closing laps. Don't go anywhere, folks. Please post in the comments who you feel is going to win it. Who is going to win the battle on strategy? Will it be Stephen? Will it be Ash? Or will it be the recovering Shimasi? He's got the gap down to 6.5 seconds now to Ash Richardson. He's slowly chipping away at the gap Ash has on him. But you've got to feel it's just a little too much for Shimasi. But don't doubt him. We doubted him in Austria, and that was a mistake. Sorry, not in Austria, in Baku, and that was a mistake. So I wouldn't recommend doubting him here. Stephen then, holding his lead, 8 seconds, waiting for that pit stop. Let's have a look at the gap to the leader. 14.4, Stephen's tyre starting to go. Bill is out of the race. And he's retired in the final sector. That might be parked up in a safe enough place. But yeah, Stephen not really building the gap that he needs to build to get ahead of Shimasi in the pit. So if he wants to win the race, he will have to do some overtaking here today. Not only will he have to pass Ash, he'll have to find a way past Shimasi as well by the looks of it, because Shimasi's got some serious pace on those soft tyres. He's doing a fantastic job actually, Shimasi. He's reeling in Ash Richardson and actually starting to come back at Stephen now. The gap 14.2 seconds. Superb job at the moment from him. What can he do to get involved in this battle? The gap between Ash and Shimasi, 6 seconds. It's coming down a few tenths a lap. You got to feel at the end of this Grand Prix he will be there. But will he take too much life out of his tyres to do so? Stephen, he's got 1.7, 1.8 extra laps of fuel in the car, so he will be using it in the closing laps to gain on the car ahead. He leads. In second we've got Ash Richardson, he's got 0.6 of fuel, so he's a bit marginal. Shimasi's even more marginal, 0.4. So these two are very similar on fuel. Matt Meerkat in fourth, trying to close in on those super softs. Pitmat in fifth. You've got to feel it's a battle between the two Mats for that fourth place this afternoon. They've just not been on it when it's come to battling the likes of Stephen, Ash and Shimasi. But mind you, they might still have a bit more fun to have, because Stephen might rejoin with these guys. I still feel that Matt would be in the pits around the same time as Stephen, so Pitmat though will certainly be involved with Stephen. Arctic Devil's in sixth. He's having a solid afternoon. If he can keep it on the island, he's doing a good job. Red Jam's in seventh. After the early incident at the start, CG in 8th, I think he was also involved in that, as was the OTG in 9th position at the moment. Space Unicorn has been a messy race for him, down in 10th, and Stiggy rounds out the field in 11th at the moment. We've got 16 laps to go. And we're waiting to see when Skeven feels the need to come into the pits. It's not yet. 16 to go. He needs to fit a set of the super softs or a set of the softs. You would feel he'll be fitting softs. So what do we think? Maybe 2 or 3 more laps and he'll be considering a pit stop. You got to think. The gap is coming down still. Shimasi only 13.3 now. Matt Meerkat within range too. So Skeven is not going to be able to open this gap out. Is he waiting for Matt Meerkat to pit so that he's got one less car to find a way through? Is that his intentions? Just going to have a look at the race director. I'm pretty sure Matt Meerkat's been in and has to pit again. Started on Ultras and he's been on super soft since lap 7, so there's no way they'll go all the way, surely not. But he is still circulating at the moment in 4th position as Skeven continues out in the lead, 7.5 seconds ahead of Ash Richardson in 2nd, Shimasi in 3rd. And the gap continuing to close between Ash and Shimasi as well. Again, it's gradual, but 5.2 now as the laps tick by. Skeven now makes the call for the pit stop. This is it then. Skeven down the pit lane, he will come. What tyres do they have ready for the Ferrari car? This is the most crucial part of the weekend then for the mechanics. This is why it's a team sport. Everything needs to be spot on. Up on the jacks goes the Ferrari, onto the super soft tyre as we expected, and away he goes like clockwork. Beautiful stop. Ash goes through. Shimasi goes through as we expected. Skeven has got 2 cars to overtake at the very least. Will he have to overtake Matt and pit Matt? That is the key. This could be crucial. Here comes Matt Meerkat and they're side by side, and Matt Meerkat is in front. So Skeven has got to get that move done basically immediately. He has to do it now. Will he outbrake the Force India on the brakes? He has to go for it. He dives up the inside. The Irishman tries to make the move. They're side by side on the exit, and Skeven is going to try and force the issue here. He has to find a way through if he wants to get after the front too. Skeven then, it has to be now. It has to be decisive. He outbreaks the Force India and surely moves through up into 3rd place. He covers off the undercut from Matt Meerkat on the exit and brilliantly moves into 3rd. Now then, we have got a grandstand finish on our hands. Can Skeven close in on Ash and Shimasi and deny them victory? I tell you what, this is going to get very, very close in the closing laps because Shimasi is catching Ash and Skeven is going to be catching them both. We could have 3 cars in the remaining laps. Actually, the last 3-4 laps battling it out for victory here. Don't go anywhere, folks. It promises to be a frenetic and frantic finale. It really does. Well, 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 what can Shimasi and Ash do to this? Pace from Skeven. He's got to pump in a fastest lap right away and let them know he's coming. Put the pressure on them. Ash then, 5 seconds ahead of Shimasi. Shimasi not cutting that gap as much as he was before. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Who is that? It's Space Unicorn continuing his horrendous afternoon with another little trip into the gravel trap similar to the one that Stiggy had earlier on. It's been a wretched afternoon for the Force India man. Is he coming into retire or is he coming in for a pit stop? Giving the speedies coming in at probably to retire. Not been an ideal afternoon for him. But already Skeven setting the timing screens alight. He's purple, and he's absolutely flying. Ash now holding Shimasi, pegging him at 5 seconds, doing a great job. Skeven then into the final corner. Here he comes then. Is he going to set a blistering lap, the new fastest lap of the Grand Prix? Surely it will. Skeven up to the line, and he does, a 1.8 flat, and he's rapidly gaining on the front too. Just as we expected, he's doing everything he needs to do. He cleared Matt Meerkat almost immediately, and immediately on the following lap pumps in a new fastest lap of the race to let his rivals know he's coming. 10 seconds cover the front 3, but Skeven is closing and the gap is coming down all the time. I tell you what, if I had to call a winner now, I would say Ash. I would go for Ash. I think he has steadied the ship now to Shimasi. He's steadied it, and Shimasi's going to have to switch his attendance to what's going on. Switch his attention, I should say, to what's going on behind him soon. And if that happens, that will allow Ash to build a big enough cushion, I think, to defend from Skeven. Ash, of course, the championship leader before last weekend's non-show in Baku, will be looking to snatch it back. He won't be able to do it though with Shimasi on the podium. but he will be able to close it in and continue this incredibly close championship battle. But Skeven, is he going to pump in another fastest lap? Not quite this time, but he is rapidly gaining on Shimasi. And Shimasi now, 4.4 to Ash. He's really beginning to reel him in again. So is this another rally from Shimasi? Is he realising that if he wants to win this race, he needs to get to Ash before Skeven gets to him? That really is the dilemma now for Shimasi. He has to get the pressure on Ash. And is it worth running in rich for a few laps, going down in the fuel, and just running into minus fuel just to get to Ash Richardson before Skeven gets to him? Because really, if he wants to win the race, he has to do that. Can he mount the pressure on Ash Richardson in front? He has got a Renault directly in front of him. It is the lap Renault, or about to be lap Renault of Stiggy. Who's that going through the gravel? Somebody went through the gravel there. I think it was one of the lap cars. And there's Space Unicorn spinning. Again, they're in 11th place. It really has been a poor afternoon, and he's retired from the Grand Prix. And he's actually beached it in the gravel, I think. Not a good afternoon for him. Really not ideal. But look at that, I said in the previous lap, 9 seconds covered the top three. It's now 7.6 seconds. It's coming down rapidly. This is going to be intense, the closing laps. Do not go anywhere, folks. Shimasi is well, I think he's been listening, because look, 3.5 seconds the gap between him and Ash. And he's got around 4 seconds to Skeven. He knows he needs to do it now. Has to get that gap down. Beginning to whittle it down. The fans in the grandstand will not be going anywhere. A lot of the time the fans like to head down to the podium to make sure they're underneath it for the end of the Grand Prix, but I get a funny feeling I don't think there'll be many people running onto the racetrack immediately here. I think a lot of them are going to be staying glued to the action on the circuit and in their chosen grandstand, their chosen vantage point, because this is going to be a grandstand finish here in Austria. Post in the comments, folks, if you're watching, who you think is going to win this one. Will it be Ash Richardson or the closing Shimasi in second? Both on similar strategies, running soft compound tyres. Shimasi on the fresher of the soft compounds because he stretched out a set of super softs from the start longer. Ash, of course, started on ultra soft tyres, which is why he's been on the soft tyres longer. Then behind that, a different strategy. The two stopping Skeven going to the end on his quicker super softs, and no! Shimasi leaves the session. No, that is so cruel. And the championship leader has been taking a blow here, a huge blow to his title aspirations and his race winning aspirations. Oh, that's a shame. What a shame. He's back though, but I think he's back a little too late to be winning this, and through goes Skeven now, up into third. Surely he will go past, up into second, sorry, he does. Oh no. Just as we were going to get a grandstand finish between the front three, well, it's going to be down to just two, as Shimasi disconnects from the session. I really feel for him. Third is on the cards, I suppose. In fact, his car's coming into the pitch as well. Oh no. Oh dear. I really feel for him. He comes in now, and he's now got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits. His race has been undone in a matter of moments, and I really do feel for Shimasi. That is a bitter blow to his Grand Prix, and well, that now means if he drops down far enough, that Ash Richardson will have a chance at this championship lead here today if he can win. He is going to be fourth, Shimasi, so actually he won't. In fact, no, make that fifth, because Matt Meerkat is coming through up into fourth, so that will mean, believe it or not, if it stays like this, with Shimasi fifth and Ash in first, those two will be level on championship points. Would you believe it? Unbelievable. Matt Meerkat now ahead of Shimasi, but they're going to be together on the racetrack right now, so that's the battle to watch. Shimasi just fitting a set of fresh ultras, so you've got to feel he's going to find a way past Matt Meerkat, and obviously he's going to try and find a way past Red Jams as well. He's done a great job to get back up into the top three, it has to be said, given his early heroics at the start, getting involved in a few incidents. So if he can hold on to that, that would be a stunning result, given how it all started for him. Skeven whittling the gap down to 4.4. Is it too little too late? 7 laps to go. I think Ash might have this, you know. We'll have to wait and see. But Shimasi in 5th. really starting to hunt down Matt Meerkat. He needs to get this move done. And if he can, move up past his title rival and then get after Red Jams as well to limit the damage to this brief disconnect that he's had from the lobby. Up the hill they go to the breaking point. And the best overtaking on the opportunity on the track, and still Shimasi is behind Matt Meerkat. It's not going to be easy, they're both on ultra soft tyres. Shimasi on the fresher ones though, but not much fresher because Matt Meerkat's not been out on those long. So they're both going to be hunting down Red Jams at a rate of knots, so that this is going to be a real scrap for the final podium spot. And out front it's going to be all out whether Stephen and Ash can get lock horns for victories. Stephen continuing to whittle that gap down now to 3.7. So he is starting to haul them in quite quickly. Oh, that could be vital. Stephen, 3 second time penalty. In fact, I'm going to check if Ash has got one, because that could be vital. Come the end of this Grand Prix. Let's have a little look at Ash. He does have a penalty. Yes, he does. He's got one as well. So it's good to know any battling that gets done between those two will be on the track. Red Jams picks up one as he starts to buckle under the pressure that's about to be mounted on him by the two ultra soft chasing Matt Meerkat and Shimasi. I have to say, Pit Matt's had a really poor afternoon. I don't know what's going on for him. Really off colour, really off the pace. And it's back to the drawing board before he heads to his home race in Silverstone. Really got to pick up from that. 8 points is really not enough when his title rivals are all scoring big here today. Well, Ash certainly is. I suppose it's not too bad that Matt Meerkat are 4th and 5th. It could have been a lot worse if they were 1st, 2nd and 3rd. But right now, Stephen and Red Jams, who are not at the moment championship contenders. Well, Stephen isn't yet, but he certainly will be if he continues this pace and finishes the races. At the moment they're not the closest issues to Pit Matt, so finishing 6th is not the end of the world, given that the man in 4th place in the championship is the man leading at the moment. It will keep him in touch, that's for sure. If there's a race to have a bad one, it's when everyone else is not having the best. And that's happening today. I say Arctic Devils and Frisky CJ are doing battle, I believe, in the final corner. Arctic Devils just found a way past Frisky CJ, who himself has been a little bit off colour, it has to be said. Really not doing too well around here. But he's right behind Arctic Devils, and is he going to come back at him? No, he's not. He's lit up the rear tyres. And that ends any hope he had there of finding a way through. Meanwhile, at the front, the gap has really come down! It's come down so much that he's pressured Ash into a mistake, and Stephen takes the place and snatches the lead. He says thank you very much, and Richardson totally bottles it, goes for a slide across the gravel, across the grass, and off the racetrack. And would you believe it, Stephen's 2-stop has worked, and he now leads incredibly. Wowee! Ash Richardson, the question was asked of him, and he's failed to answer it, and he's gone bouncing across the gravel and down a position. Meanwhile, Matt Meerkat and Red Jams are doing battle as Shimasi tries to hunt them down. All kicking off here. Stephen now almost certain to win this one, but look at Red Jams right up behind Matt Meerkat. Is there any retaliation? Surely there isn't. Matt Meerkat on the superior tyre is going to take 3rd place and rob Red Jams of what was looking like an impressive podium spot. Surely there's no way through as they climb the hill now towards the best overtaking opportunity in the track. Will he try and outbreak the Force India? No, he will not, and he remains behind him, and surely Red Jams has got to admit defeat and start focusing on Shimasi behind. But Ash Richardson, goodness me, he'll be kicking himself. What has he done there? He's thrown it away. Stephen mounted the pressure and delivered on his 2-stop strategy. Ash Richardson will be furious with himself. The Renault garage is a scene of dismay. Head in their hands on the pit wall, head in their hands in the garage. Oh dearie me, Ash Richardson, it was going oh so well. After a week off, looked like he was returning to glory, and it just hasn't happened for him. And Stephen is going to pick up a vital victory, one that might kickstart his season, one that he was looking for in Baku and really should have gotten Baku. Is he now going to get himself involved in a title battle as the season goes on? He now moves ahead of Ash Richardson and into the lead with 3 laps to go, and Ash will not have an answer, but does Red Jams have an answer for Shimasi, who's all over the back room. He goes round the outside of Shimasi, outbreaks him into the turn 3 and makes a beautiful move right past the Red Jams, whose tyres must be crying to death now. He's been on them for an absolute age, as Red Jams. And Shimasi up into 4th. Now can he refocus on the back of Matt Meerkat and collect some champagne before this race is finished? Lap 33 out of 36. It has been a good race. We've had some really good overtaking, some good action on the track, a clean race as well, and a real battle out front in the strategy contention. And yeah, I think it's been brilliant to watch. A really good race, an intriguing race, and Skeven looks to me like with just 2 laps to go, so 2.5 to go, that he is going to deliver 25 points for the Tifosi, the Ferrari team, who were sent home disappointed last week in Baku. Not so here in Austria. There are many Ferrari flags in the grandstand, many Ferrari fans all around the world. Actually, on the formation lap, or on the, what was it, the formation lap, I think it was, I seen a huge Ferrari flag in the grandstand on the way up the hill past the first corner. And a lot of fans here love Ferrari. Of course, it is the home of the Red Bull Ring, a lot of Red Bull fans as well, but it doesn't matter where you go, Ferrari fans everywhere you look, and Skeven is going to put a rather big smile on all of their faces here today as he starts the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. So let's have it then, everyone, let's have your suggestions for driver of the day. Skeven's got to be considered, he really has. Been a super drive for him. Shimasi's put in a good job, but he's just not at the pace at all this afternoon. He was really unfortunate with the... Oh, he has the pace, sorry. He's really unfortunate with the disconnect. So for me, Skeven and Shimasi certainly deserve to be considered for driver of the day. And alongside them, I think I'll go for Red Jams, who had a really messy start, and it looks like he's going to pick up a good 5th place. So Skeven, for me, is my driver of the day personally, but him, Shimasi, who was going really well and looked like he was going to take it to Ash Richardson. I mean, it's very harsh on Ash not to give it to him, but his big mistake means, in my opinion, making a mistake as opposed to Shimasi being unlucky with a disconnect means I've got to give it to Shimasi more than I would to Ash to list him on the driver of the day. So I will give Skeven a place on the driver of the day list. I will give Shimasi a nomination as well, and I'll give the other one to Red Jams as Skeven starts his final tour of the circuit. And the Ferrari fans rise to their feet in the grandstands. They know a winner when they see one. Is this the start of a championship fight for Skeven? His teammate had a horrible day. He was out barely before it started, was Ricky. No such problems for Skeven though on this final lap. He just has to stroke it home and he will pick up 25 World Championship points and maybe just get his way into a championship contending position. It's been a super drive from the Irishman. Faultless in qualifying, the only man in the 1 minute 5s. And is he going to add victory to his opening win in Australia? He's had so many issues since then. He's not scored since Russia, but Skeven is certainly going to score today. He's going to score with a victory as he comes round the penultimate corner and into the final corner now. The Ferrari mechanics are out in the pit wall. They get ready to greet him with the Italian flags. Skeven wins brilliantly here in Austria. It's a fantastic result for Ferrari, and Skeven actually is shown as having penalties, too many penalties, and it's showing me that Ash Richardson has won it. We'll have a look at the end of the race to ensure that on the penalty count. But Matt Meerkat is going to come home in 3rd position here. Solid as a pole, you'll be happy to beat Shimasi, given that it didn't look likely. Red Jams is going to come home with 5th. Pit Matt disappointed in low-key 6th by the looks of it. And Arctic Devils following him home in 7th, with Frisky CJ coming home in a disappointing 8th place, it has to be said. Not his best afternoon. OTG's already seen the checker flag a lap down, as has Stiggy. So I believe Ash Richardson, as a result of all the penalties, has won this Grand Prix. Never good to see a Grand Prix decided in the stewards room, but you cannot go cutting corners And in the end, it looks to me like it's going to be victory for Ash Richardson. Indeed it is. So there you go, Skeven again denied what looked like a certain victory, and Ash Richardson bounces back from the no-show in Baku to take victory here today. Not quite leading the championship, but he's closed that 15-point deficit right up, and he goes to Silverstone firmly in the hunt. Skeven takes second. I suppose it's points at the end of the day. He's not had many finishes this season. When he has finished, he has been in the podium, so if he can do that more often, he will get what he needs. There you go, there's a confirmation there. Skeven had 4 penalties at the end. Apologies for not clocking that. Ash Richardson winning though for Renault. Skeven in second and Matt Meerkat in third. Probably quite satisfied with third place given the lack of pace he had and the incidents and the poor start he had. He dropped 5 places at the start of the Grand Prix. Shimasi fourth with that disconnect. He'll be bitterly disappointed with that. Red Jam's fifth, good effort from his start. Arctic Devil sixth, Pitmat seventh, CJ is 8th. And yeah, fantastic Grand Prix. Really enjoyed it. An absolute thriller. So that concludes the Grand Prix here in Austria. A fantastic event here in the Red Bull Ring. A fantastic win for Ash Richardson, albeit in the stewards room with the penalty count. And he'll be looking to win once again as we head to Silverstone next Friday for the British Grand Prix. Thanks very much for watching.